you think that Jaylen Brown deserves the highest contract ever in NBA history?
Jaylen Brown does not deserve to be the richest paid player.
Is Derrick Rose a Hall of Famer?
I feel like 100 years from now, people really won't know that much about DRose because people talk about comparisons.
We look at athletic point guards and like explosive point guards. We always compare them to DRose.
Today, we're doing a Battle of the Eras 2023 All-NBA team, and we're going to put them up against the 2008 All-NBA team.
Dwight Howard bit the dust because the game changed and he couldn't keep up. Joel Embiid can do all the shit a modern-day center could do.
Dwight Howard and KG, what they're going to do to them down low is going to get fucking disgusting. Never in my life, in my 31 years of life, have I ever heard anybody say Paul Pierce is my favorite player. This whole shit about D Wade, you need to get off his dick. I ain't gonna lie.
Paul, riddle me this. Who's the better NBA player?
That's easy. I can say that off the bat. That's me. I was 24 years old.
Okay.
You give me Shaq. When I'm 24, 25, you give me LeBron and Bosh. I'll be sitting on 5 or 6 championships. Easy.
Because you will never be better than D Wade, ever. What do you think about when you hear Paul Pierce? You think about him shitting himself. That's what you know, because your swag is doo-doo, your game is doo-doo. And like, you're the only Hall of Famer and nobody will give a fuck about. Draymond said you had a farewell tour. And they don't love you like that. You thought you were Kobe. You the only player that have a farewell tour. To give yourself the only one, and nobody gave a fuck. Paul Pierce, I don't love you. At first, it was cool. You know, you had the Monica, you had the strippers. You know, we was riding with you, and then you just started doing goofy shit. You said the Miami Heat isn't a contender with Dame. They beat the fucking Boston Celtics without Damian Lillard. So imagine when they get fucking Damian Lillard, they're going to cook you up and put you in a blender and spit you the fuck out. So I don't know what you're going to do. I don't think Kristaps Porzingis is stopping that. This is what we do. We pass the ball around like the Golden State Warriors, and we got my guy Gio in the building, and we got fucking Colin in the building. And there's a lot of fucking energy. There's a lot of fucking turnarounds. It's going to be a fucking different show, and I need the fucking yelling and screaming. Let's go, Colin. My fault. I didn't mean to do that.
It's a company computer.
Yeah, fuck Paul Pierce. I say here.
My fault. Nah, what's up, fellas? How you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. I'm hyped up now. I'm hyped the fuck up. Fuck Paul Pierce. I'm with you. I'm with you with this shit. Let's go.
How do you guys feel about Paul Pierce, just in general?
Paul Pierce is in like this little like warp hole, black hole thing, and it's his own fault. I feel like what he's trying to do right now, because Paul Pierce was never the best player in the league. He was a great player, Hall of Fame talent, but I feel like that's bothering him. And now that he's retired, he's trying to say, hey, look at me. Don't forget about me. Oh, Kobe. Oh, LeBron. Those are the guys who kind of dominated while he was playing. And now he's saying, hey, look at me. I'm better than this guy. I'm better than Dwayne Wade. That's not the case, and it's now collapsing in on himself because kids today are just going to think of Paul Pierce as this ludicrous old man who doesn't make any sense and thinks he's way better than he is. Like what we like to joke about LeVar Ball for, Paul Pierce actually thinks that about himself. Now people aren't going to think Paul Pierce as a Hall of Fame talent. They're going to look at him as the crazy old man who thinks he's better than he ever was.
Bro, Rondo, Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, KG. What do all those people have in common? They both won a championship on the same team, right? All four of them, right?
Sounds like a super
and
team.
And he's the only person that nobody fucking likes out of that fucking team. Everybody loves Rondo.
Well, he's the only one who talks out of his ass.
Yeah.
And that's why. Yeah.
Let's look at what KG and Paul Pierce are doing now, like how they're going after basketball. It's two completely different ways. Like KG has his own show, has his own podcast, has all these sponsorships, is giving love back to the game, giving love back to the young players specifically. I saw an interview with him and Chet Holmgren. That was a really good interview. That was really like, you know, showing respect, showing love for what Chet's doing and that kind of stuff. That's a guy that you respect. That's a guy that deserves the respects and earned that respect. Paul Pierce, yeah, he earned the respect. He was a very good player. He will be in the Hall of Fame. However, all that dumb shit that he's doing afterwards is kind of ruining that. Like what you said to start with the strippers.
Wait, ruining
that was
what?
His image. His image, not like his
like people
legacy,
don't.
Paul
like,
Pierce never had a good fucking image.
No, I mean,
He
like,
could have though. He could have.
He
He
could
could
have.
have said like,
no, it started
I
off
was a
good.
good
It
player.
started
People
off
would be like,
'cause
you know what? Yeah, you were, Paul.
You know why?
but-
Because nobody liked Paul Pierce. So we thought finally Paul Pierce had a moment. He was going to be cool.
Yeah, he was
and
with
then
the
it's just like,
strippers.
nah, he's just a fucking goofy. So I just got to
Yes.
think about that. Paul Pierce is not ruining his image. He's always been a goofy, and it's showing that now. Like I said, fuck the Celtics, by the way, because we from New York, kid.
Fuck 'em.
Gang, gang.
I'm with you on that.
Jaylen Brown just got the highest contract ever, right? The highest contract Supermax extension for $304 million. Do you think that Jaylen Brown deserves the highest contract ever in NBA history?
Jaylen Brown does not deserve to be the richest paid player in the NBA. Let's look at who's ahead of him. LeBron James, Nikola Jokic, Giannis. You have Joel Embiid. Like, there's so many more deserving guys to be called to be
Wait.
having.
To be fair, this is a contract thing, right? So
Yes.
when you're with a team for a certain amount of period, you can sign.
Yes,
that
with the
supermax.
all-pro stuff,
Yeah.
yes.
So when you look at Jaylen Brown, he's a 2-time NBA All-Star, right?
Yes.
He made one All-NBA team, and that was the second team.
That was this past
and
year.
obviously, after that, he hasn't done nothing. In the Game 7 closeout game, he had 17 points. So you gave a guy that had 17 points in a Game 7 closeout game to go to the NBA Finals.
I think he had 7 turnovers that game too.
$304 million, and
Yeah.
he can't go left.
Yes.
That's so. I mean, I get it from a standpoint you wanting to keep him and not walk,
Yeah.
but does that hurt your franchise?
You can't let him walk. I mean, and what you said about does he deserve
Yes,
to
you
be?
can.
It's a catch-22
You
though.
can. You can let anybody walk,
You
brother.
could.
Does he deserve to be the highest paid player?
No.
He deserves to be the highest paid player for the next 6 months because 6 months from now or a year from now, whoever's next up is going to get paid more, and that's how this works. He's not going to be the highest paid player in the league for long. We all know how this works. This happens in every single sport. So, like, it's,
Well,
I'm
you're-
cool with
you're-
it happening for now.
You're a numbers guy, money guy, right? And you talking about spreading your team out. And when you give a guy that much money, it hurts your team. You'll be able
I'm
to
with
build
that.
your roster and
Yeah.
your team, right? That doesn't affect the Boston Celtics in any way.
Their window is closer to close. I'm not going to say it's closed, but it's tighter than it was than the last 2 years where they had that flexibility. But still, it's better to have Jaylen Brown than to not have Jaylen
Yeah,
Brown.
but now if you want to trade him, you can. There's no shot. What team is going to take that contract? There's no
it 2
team.
years.
Unless the Celtics want to eat
And
a
the-
large part of that contract, there's no
Dude,
team
the
that's going
Sixers
to
were able to
depends.
trade Ben Simmons when he was not playing at all and was getting paid a fuck ton of money too. You're always going to be able to
because
find a
there's the
sucker.
Ben Simmons.
The way I relate
hype.
it to is
It's not gonna be
Bradley
easy,
Beal,
but-
right?
Yeah.
If you look at his contract was fucking horrible. But obviously the Suns ate that because they wanted to win a championship. My thing is, what is his value down the line? Do you think Jaylen Brown's better than Bradley Beal?
No.
Yeah.
You think he is?
No.
Yeah.
What?
Right now.
Really?
Yeah. Why?
Bradley Beal just has not been on the court as much. I haven't seen him in the playoffs. Like, these things matter to me when I think, like, we could look up their numbers right now. I bet Jaylen Brown's numbers are better than Bradley Beal's. The last 2-3 years, I've seen more from Jaylen Brown. I think about how Jaylen Brown is going to keep the Celtics title window open because he's younger. I don't even think it's a question. Like, I don't think most people would take Beal over.
But he could go left.
You
But in all-
congrats. You got
but-
your
but-
argument off of the replies on
No, but in all
But
in all seriousness,
like, yeah,
I'm in there. Yes, it's my narrative. But Bradley Beal's been hurt. But when Bradley Beal's on the court, he was averaging what 28, 29 points per game. When he's healthy, he's that dude. There's not really many guys in this league that could stop him. Jaylen Brown he'll have a lot of games of 20, 25 points, 30 points, but then there's also plenty of games where he doesn't really do much.
But you're talking about availability, though, right?
Yeah.
So if he's healthy, he can be
Sure.
on the court. He's more
Availability,
valuable
yes.
than Bradley Beal.
Yeah, but
obviously,
maybe-
when you're in the Wizards and you're in fuckland and you don't give a fuck about that
Fuckland.
team,
Exactly,
It's
maybe-
like, what can you do at that certain point? You're gonna give out. You're gonna say you're hurt. You're not gonna want to play games. So with Jaylen Brown, it's a whole different story, right?
Yes.
Because he is 26. He has that youth and longevity. So if you look at that. Contract down the
defender,
line,
too.
They have to win a championship. If they don't, this was a waste of fucking money. Jaylen Brown's a good fucking player, but to pay him a supermax and then have that and then have your team stressed out over the next few years, I don't think Jaylen Brown was worth that type of money. Me personally, I just think that doesn't make sense.
Where do you think they go if they say, you know what, like, fuck you, your contract runs out, you're going to be a free agent next summer?
Think about it. There was
Guys
they were
aren't-
going to
there's
trade him in
free
general.
agent- free agents
your
aren't
your thing
available
is
as
like,
they-
yo,
like they used to
all
be.
right, you didn't get any value from him. I understand that you can't let him walk, but at the same time, you can't let him put you in a fucking. You can't let him hold you hostage.
It's a financial
Because he
hold.
did. He had the leverage, right? So if he had the leverage, why the fuck would you do that in the sense that it fucked your franchise over for the next few years? You're thinking about right now, but you got to think about the future, like you like, right? So
do like
they
the
just
future.
fucked themselves in the future. No.
I still don't think so
I
because
don't
he's
know. I
fucking
think-
24
I think
years old or
Collins is-
whatever.
If I'm Jaylen Brown, I'm taking this money 100 times out of 10. Obviously, you take the fucking money, of course. But as a franchise, like it's not smart because you can't trade him if things happen like down the line. We saw it with Bradley Beal. We've seen it plenty of times.
Bradley
when you-
Beal is so much older when he signed that extension
Okay,
than Jaylen
but
Brown right now. I
but
feel like
still.
we think about, like the Russ deal and the Bradley Beal deal. These guys were all probably like 5-6 years older than Jaylen Brown.
Jason Tatum, right?
Yeah.
Is he a top 10 player in this league?
You could argue Jason Tatum is not a top 10 player.
All right, what's your argument?
So I'll run down a list of players, and we'll see if they're better than Jason Tatum. Nikola Jokic,
Yep.
Yes.
Giannis,
Yes.
Yep.
Luka Doncic,
Yep.
Yes.
Steph Curry,
Yep.
Yes.
LeBron James.
Yes.
Say yes, Colin.
Yes.
Let's say yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
because
Okay.
I'm being bullied into it, I guess.
Kevin Durant,
Yes.
Joel Embiid,
No. Joel Embiid has never won a meaningful game in his life.
I don't know. Joel Embiid never made it out the second round.
That's fine. We're still at 6. Kawhi Leonard.
No.
This is where I get stuck on Kawhi and AD because when they're healthy,
You
I
don't think
think
Kawhi's
so.
better than Jason Tatum?
Health. Availability,
Fine. All
you
right.
being there.
Jimmy-
Last few years,
fine.
Kawhi hasn't been on the court.
Okay.
So how can you not say
We can trade Kawhi and LeBron.
Okay, fine.
So that's
So what's 6? No, Jimmy Butler.
no? No. Jimmy Butler's
Say
not
it.
better than Jason
Come
Tatum.
on, say your honest truth.
yeah, okay, yeah. I think Tatum's better.
Okay.
Tatum's
cool.
better. So you agree that Jason Tatum is better than Jimmy Butler?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I will say
What type
that.
of Heat guy
I
you?
will say that. I will say
First
that.
This
Saint
is the
Butler
Heat
said in, like,
fan.
2
This is
months.
the Heat
Jimmy
fan
Butler
saying
is
this.
Jimmy Buckets is the man, but like throughout the regular season, we've seen like Jimmy Butler go through spurts, and even in the playoffs, we saw him go through spurts. Yes, Jimmy is that dude. When he's on, he's fucking on. There's nobody. He's a top
so
5
he's
player.
too inconsistent.
But yes, I agree.
Would you rather have Jimmy Butler on the Heat than Jason Tatum?
Oh, I'd rather have Jimmy Butler.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, because he's just.
So-
How do you
because
wait?
he's-
Wait.
Because that meant no.
Because you just said
no.
Tatum's better.
How is Tatum better, but you rather have Jimmy Butler on the Heat?
Would you rather have like Joel Embiid or I don't know some other center? I wouldn't want
Nick
Joel
Claxton.
Embiid because he doesn't. Yeah, exactly. You'd rather have Nick Claxton than Joel Embiid. So let's.
Nobody would rather.
No, that's not
No,
you
but it
told
also,
me
but like,
that. What are you talking
it's just the type of player that they are, though. Like, yes, there are better players in the league. I'd rather have Damian Lillard than Kyrie Irving. I know Kyrie's the better player than Damian Lillard, but I'd rather Dame.
Wait, how do you get there?
I'm just saying, like, there's types of players that you'd rather have on your team. Like, I'd rather have a guy like Jimmy
but
Butler
you're
with that
you're
kind of
saying-
mentality.
I feel like a lot of people wouldn't have Kyrie on their team because of like Kyrie who he is.
Yeah,
off
I
the
think that's a
court,
different
like,
case.
his
You can't apply Kyrie's
And
whatever
Tatum
you want to call
and
it
Jimmy
to
Butler
Tatum and
are
Jimmy
two
Butler. They're
different
both
things,
but it's
right?
it's mentality, though.
You know what you're going to get from them. They're going to be there. They're going to be available.
Yes.
They're going to play. So if you had, say if it was Game 7 and you had to put one team on your back and you had to pick these players, you knew down the line, would you take Jason Tatum or would you take Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Butler, because we've
so
seen
you
him
think
do
Jimmy
it.
Butler is the better player?
No, talent-wise, Jason Tatum is a better player. However, Jimmy Butler in clutch times has been better than Jason Tatum. And Jimmy Butler, I'd rather have him lead a team to an NBA Finals than Jason Tatum because of the type of player that he is, the dog that he is. I don't want Jason Tatum corny-ass texting Kobe before every game. I got
That
you,
shit
big bro.
sucks.
Like,
It's
that's
high,
a legit
it's
stance. How's
high
that a legit
ceiling
stance?
versus high floor. Jimmy Butler has a high floor.
Yes.
You know what you're going to get from him. So if you like security, you like Jimmy Butler. If you like potential and
Thank
you like
you.
this guy could drop fucking 50 points, you like Jason.
Thank you
Tatum.
for articulating my.
It's a
Thank you,
preference.
Fallon. But back to the list. I'm not
Back
done with
to
this
the
list.
Okay.
Damian Lillard, better than Jason Tatum.
No.
No.
Ja Morant.
What number are we at?
I don't know.
I
We're at
think
six,
we're-
we're 6 players. Let's go. We went off a
He's
tangent.
better than Ja Morant.
Okay. Anthony Davis. You're a big Anthony Davis guy.
If you say no to Kawhi, then you have to say no to
Yeah,
AD.
you got to. I know you're a big AD
I don't
guy.
have to say shit. He's not better than AD.
God
He's
dang.
not.
You just talked about availability. So, in this logic, Anthony Davis is better than Jason Tatum. I think Kawhi Leonard is better than Anthony Davis. So then Kawhi is better than Jason Tatum.
Do you think Jimmy Butler is a top 10 player?
Yes, like
So that means
10.
Jason Tatum's a top 10 player.
right.
What are we talking
All right,
about,
fine.
bro?
You got
Like,
you
what
got
are we
me.
talking
You
about?
got it. I flipped just like that. Fine. If you had to put Jason Tatum somewhere, top 10 players, where are you ranking him?
I mean, around like
6
8.
or 7 feels right.
Okay.
Maybe closer to 8.
But
The
he's
problem
definitely a
was,
top
I think last year, and I think it's because there are so many fucking Celtics fans in the world, and there are a lot of Celtics fans in the media.
Yeah.
I think people put Jason Tatum top 5 way too early.
I don't think
way too early.
I don't think he's there.
To me, to bump a guy to the top 5, I need to see it for 2 or 3 years.
Talk about Embiid being the top 10 player, obviously. But, you know, James Harden didn't go to his wedding, right? And he was in Houston eating Trill burgers with Bun B. And I feel like James Harden, the only person that he actually likes is PJ Tucker. And my thing is like
It's
this.
a weird guy to only like.
PJ's the man.
Hey, if
though.
he could just sit up and play corner threes and be a defensive guy,
PJ Tucker's the man. Get
why
some,
not?
get a bunch of
But I
rebounds.
think like that speaks volumes into their relationship, right? Joel Embiid came out and said that, yo, I want James Harden back in Philadelphia, and I want to finish what we started. James Harden is always in Houston, showing that he wants to be in Houston. He has restaurants in Houston. He has ties in Houston. He loves Houston, but he can't fucking go back. So if you can't go back there and you want to force your way to the LA Clippers, what the rumor is, right? Why the fuck would you even think that's a fucking possibility that they would send you there? Because they would have to give up too much for them to send you there. They're not going to get much in return.
They don't need James Harden.
Exactly. So my thing is with James Harden, not with the bullshit.
James Harden was a bigger L for the Sixers than Ben Simmons was.
Yeah.
And the worst part of it all, I know like trades come and go all the time, but I cannot get over the fact that the Sixers could have gotten rid of the Tobias Harris contract. They could have traded Tobias, Ben Simmons, and Thibault, who, by the way, this year they traded for Jalen McDaniels, who walked for free. So they traded Matisse Thybulle for nothing. Tobias' fat contract. Ben Simmons. All of that could have been turned into Tyrese Halliburton, one of the best young point guards in the league, in my opinion, is already better than James Harden, and he's fucking 10 years younger than him. They could have also gotten Harrison Barnes and 2 first-round picks. That is the biggest L, and it's all because Daryl Morey was, oh, no, I want my guy, I want Harden. And imagine the Sixers right now with Halliburton and Embiid. Does it not feel like the Sixers window is closing? They have all this pressure. If they have Embiid, they have Halliburton, 2 of the best young players in the league. It's fucking daisies and flowers everywhere in Philadelphia. They also still have Tyrese Maxey. They could probably get another guy with the space they gave up by getting off the Tobias contract. Yeah. That literally would have solved all their problems and then some.
I think the 76ers championship window is closed. James Harden is not going to be wearing a Philadelphia 76ers jersey next year. Whether he gets traded, forces his way out, or he just sits out, which he very much can. And then I think he could just leave for free the following offseason. Some weird stuff with that. I just don't see it there. You hope you have this MVP caliber talent with you and Joel Embiid, and now it's a pile of dog shit.
Mikal Bridges said that Ben Simmons will be an all-star again.
Here for you. We want to be there through the process. If you shoot 5 middies in a row, you miss all 5, shoot the 6th one. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a big fan of Ben Simmons, man. He still has that game in him. We know you're going to get through it, man. Just keep powering through it. Return back to elite form.
Do you believe that or not?
Yeah,
I believe Mikal is a good teammate.
I truly think, I actually agree with Mikal, and I think Ben Simmons could get back to that all-star level. Look at the talent there. Look at his ceiling. He's a Magic Johnson type build in the big size point guard. When he was healthy, was one of the top defenders in the NBA. Like Kawhi Leonard level type defender. It's just he needs to score.
I was going to agree with you, but at this point, I feel like Ben Simmons just don't got it no more. Ben Simmons had all the fucking talent in the world. He had every opportunity to be great. But when you get to a certain standpoint, when you have your confidence shot and you had an opportunity to come back and play with KD and Kyrie Irving and you still couldn't get your fucking confidence back, that speaks a lot about who you are and how mentally tough you are. We always say about like, oh, LeBron, well, he didn't have that mental toughness and this player doesn't have that though. Ben Simmons is that person. So I feel like Ben Simmons will never be an all-star again because once you're in the dark, it's hard to come to the light, baby. And I feel like Ben Simmons is never going to be back at that level where he needs to be. It's cool. He might be productive, but will he be an all-star again? No.
I think you're stupid if you're not buying the Ben Simmons stock right now. Just because, like, take away all the stuff you see on like Twitter, all the jokes you see, oh, Ben Simmons, he's going to China, the low-hanging fruit of the NBA. Forget all that for a second. And just look at him as a former All-NBA, 27-year-old guy who, I mean, and he was fucked up mentally. So that's something that can get changed.
Here's another thing, though, right? When somebody has a back injury, they're just never the same, right? If you look at Dwight Howard, when he had that back injury, he had that surgery when he played for the Lakers, he was never the same. Yeah. So it's the same thing with Ben Simmons right now. He has a mental issue, right? Where I'm not saying that's a bad thing or nothing
mental block, like a mental block.
Mental block, right? But also he has a back injury. So when players have back injuries, they're just never the same.
I agree with you.
So I think it's two things. It's the mental and the back injury.
The mental thing, though, to go off what you said about like getting his confidence back with like KD and Kyrie, I don't think that was a good situation for him to get his confidence back at all. There was a report that in his first or second practice with the team, an unnamed person, take a wild guess who this is, screamed at him, "Make something of yourself." Imagine having like KD and you're like now he's got Mikal Bridges, he's got Cam Johnson, he's got like some of the Nick Claxton, the fucking boy. He's got some of the most like wholesome guys on the team.
The pressure is different, but
there's no pressure for him anymore.
For you to be great, you have to deal with that pressure, right?
I agree.
So even in the game where fucking Ben Simmons is still under the hoop and he passes that shit and then fucking Kyrie yells out, "Shoot that motherfucker." Yeah. That's something that you have to do if you want to be an elite player.
From where he's at right now, it's baby steps. And I think those first couple baby steps are hanging out with a guy like Mikal Bridges, hanging out with the team, players coach like Jock Vaughn, who are going to help build you back up. And then hopefully you're in a place where you can talk some shit, you can take some shit, and you're going to be a dog when it's the playoffs.
The pressure on Ben Simmons right now is off, and he needs that completely because there's no pressure for the Brooklyn Nets right now. They're going to be a good team, but they're not seen as this championship team. They're not seen as this horrible team. They're going to be good. They're going to make the playoffs. There's no pressure on that team, so there's no pressure on Ben Simmons. Will the pressure come? Eventually, yes, but right now he needs that off his back to really get back into his groove. Again, with a very fun crew. Brooklyn's very nice. Brooklyn's fun. So, get him back into it. And then the pressure will come back, and then we'll see that Ben Simmons again that everyone was hoping to see at a certain point.
I'm not sold, like when I said it was stupid. I'm saying it's smart to buy this stock just because he's never been lower. Yeah. And when you look at, you're never going to have the opportunity to pick out a 27-year-old former NBA talent and say, this guy's going to be good and get it for bottom dollar price?
Is Derrick Rose a Hall of Famer? Derrick Rose is a Hall of Famer.
I want to say yes, but I'm saying no.
It's
We
just
talk
no.
about LeBron all the time, how much longevity matters. It's got to work both ways. And if you weren't a Hall of Fame talent for a large percentage of your career.
Yao Ming played 8 years. He's in the Hall of Fame. So what's the longevity to you, right? I get that. You know who else is in the Hall of Fame? Tony Kukoc. When you think about like players, it's not just skill set and what you did as far as like career and being productive. I feel like your cultural impact and what you brought to the NBA and players wanting to be like you and the model for a certain stand-up. Yeah. When we look at athletic point guards and like explosive point guards, we always compare him to DRose. And he had an MVP. A lot of people can say, let's look at some of the stats of DRose. MVP, 3-time All-Star, and an NBA first team, and Rookie of the Year. So I think you got to keep that in mind. To me, that's a Hall of Fame career just alone, and what he meant to Chicago, I think he's going into the Hall of Fame. And it's not hard to get in that motherfucker. If you look at Tracy McGrady, right? Tracy motherfucking McGrady, one of my probably my second favorite player of all time next to LeBron.
I love that.
This motherfucker, I love him, and yeah, we get the excuse because of his knees, but he never made it out the first round. At least DRose got to an Eastern Conference Championship, and look, who did he lose to? LeBron and them boys. So he got a pass from that.
So the Basketball Hall of Fame, yes, it's very easy to get into, but it's also not just just the NBA Hall of Fame, it's the basketball in general. So with your Yao Ming argument, it's what he brought to the game in terms of, it's not just like a couple kids in the States like being like, I want to be like Derrick Rose. It was a whole country of China being like, I love basketball, I love NBA, and that's why Yao Ming mostly is because he's in the Hall of Fame.
They got to change.
Is Tim Hardaway better than fucking DRose?
I don't think so, but
Tim
that's
Hardaway
recency bias because I'm saying like there's so many guys that like I did not watch Tim Hardaway play, not that familiar with his game, so I'm saying. But like my thing is that I think we need to readdress how we vote in the Hall of Fame. There are all these guys in the Hall of Fame where you hear about them. I think a lot of it came out with the NBA 75. It was like this guy was on there, this guy did all that, and now like a lot of us who are like our generation don't recognize those names. I feel like 100 years from now, people really won't know that much about DRose because people talk about comparisons. Sorry.
Don't do that.
No, I'm
Sorry
serious.
about it. Sorry about it.
I agree with Colin. I don't think Derrick Rose, yes, I love Derrick Rose.
We compare
some of the
people to Derrick Rose right
Yes.
now because he's the most recent, like explosive, like sick point guard. And he was one of the first guys to pop up in the social media age that we all live in.
I'm about to hit you with the Oppenheimer. I'm about to hit you with the bomb. Listen, there hasn't been any MVP that's never made the Hall of Fame.
There's about to be one. His name's Derrick Rose.
Yeah,
It's not going to happen, bro.
I think
should
it
be.
is.
It
It
should
should.
be. It
Because
should
he
be.
had a
should
4-year
be.
window.
Dare you as basketball fans even say that?
He had a 4-year window. If you want to talk about basketball culture, let's talk about Stephon Marbury. He fucking changed. Everyone was wearing Starberries. You want to talk about culture? You talk the culture.
Stephon
I'm not
Marbury
enjoying
eats
this. I
Vaseline,
love
so
Derrick
Yes.
Rose. I just think we
This
got to
is-
draw the line.
This sucks. This argument, this conversation sucks.
It doesn't suck. It's a valid argument.
it-
You can't
No,
tell me
I'm
that
not
Derrick
saying
Rose
it's a
is not-
bad
Because you're forcing us
conversation.
to
I'm saying
hate on
yes.
a guy that we all fucking
No,
love.
you're hating on him.
I'm upset.
I'm calling it
upset
as it
right
is.
now.
I'm calling it as it
It's
is.
just Derrick
I'm
Rose had
taking
the-
no
You got
He had a
pleasure.
4
MVP.
Yes, but he had a 4-year
Okay.
window, and that was it. And then he
How
won.
many?
deal
Think
now?
of an MVP whose career fell off harder than Derrick Rose's after that.
Because he tore
Find
an
me the
ACL,
MVP
and then
who
he
did
got,
that.
into, he got
Tibbs.
another energy. Yeah, because fuck Tibbs. All
I'm
the
saying
homies
you
hate
brought up
Tibbs. We get
MVP.
it.
They've all been in the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Find me an MVP that happened the same thing that happened to Derrick Rose.
All those
you can't.
MVPs
And that's why I don't think you should.
And
be in
all
the
those
Hall of Fame.
MVPs had long careers in the NBA.
I'll say he's got one of the best fucking stories ever. That
Yes.
he's still serviceable given all the surgery he's had. But
And I love
Hall of
Derrick
Fame's a different
Rose, but
story.
I don't think Derrick Rose is a Hall of Famer.
Did LeBron create the super team?
No,
Nah.
LeBron did not create the super team.
This is a narrative started by boomers who
Yes.
just get mad about things.
People use it as an avenue to hate on LeBron.
It took us 30 seconds to already
But I'm
do
It's
the
true,
LeBron
though.
parade. And
It's
LeBron is the most
true.
persecuted man in NBA.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. But
We have
people
to
use
protect
it.
him at all costs.
I didn't say that. But people use it as an avenue to hate on LeBron,
Listen,
to diminish his stuff.
I'll say this. The first super team was the Lakers when they had Karl Malone and Gary Payton. And you might say, they were washed. They went to the finals with that team. So what they were trying to do, they fucking accomplished. You got that fucking old weird dude, Karl Malone, and you got Gary Payton, the glove, and it fucking worked, right? Yes. But even though you lost to the Detroit Pistons, I get that, understand. You guys started beefing, you started going the second way. If you don't want to count them, you know who was a super team? The Boston Celtics. They got Ray Allen, they got fucking KG, and they became a fucking super team. The Celtics were the sole reason why LeBron James went to the Cavs, right? You all remember that image of LeBron James goes to the tunnel and he takes off his fucking jersey. He has the mouthpiece and he's just fucking fed up. The Celtics forced that, and LeBron James said, I have to create my own super team so I can get past these guys. So they created what became LeBron James. Anywhere LeBron James would have went, it would have been a fucking titty attack. And there's no way LeBron James could have went some. And what are you going to do? Oh, let's go play with a D-Wade, right? Oh, Chris Bosh, you can't come here because we want to keep the integrity of the fucking game.
Yeah.
No, you go out, you get the
Hell
best
yeah,
player fucking
Grandpa.
possible. You know what I mean? So I don't think LeBron started the super team thing. I think it started with the Lakers because they were the first one to have the most, I don't want to say successful one in terms of like getting to that end goal. Even though they didn't win, they were the first iteration of that. LeBron isn't the first player to create the super team, and everybody says it's a domino effect because of him, but it's not.
He's not the first player to create the super team, but he's the first player to go on national television and say, oh, here's my decision, and to go out and dance up on a stage with like your new buddies and say, oh, not one, not two, not three. Like, no, he's not responsible for the whole super team stuff, but I think he's responsible for the villain arc that followed him. He made such a big show out of it that it didn't have to be. On the other hand, I think he's the biggest hero of all time for going back to Cleveland, but I also think this super team thing gets this negative connotation, though, that it really shouldn't. Like, being a super team is sick. It means your front office is filled with sharks. Like, that's a good thing. It's like a boogeyman that small market teams came up with to say, oh, no, this is wrong. No, it's fucking sick. Sorry that your front office isn't as good.
Yeah, sorry nobody wants to play in Utah.
Poverty. There have been super teams throughout history. Like, I'm looking up right now, all the way back in the early 70s. We got the Lakers.
We just don't think
We don't think about it. The Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Gail Goodrich. That's a super team right there. Wilt joined that team. They reacquired Gail, and they built that team, and the Lakers did that. The 76ers have done it. Old Houston Rockets team. It was a failed one. It was Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley, and fucking Clyde Drexler. Didn't work out, but that's still a super team. Those are three really, like, all-star Hall of Fame guys. KD went to the Warriors. Love it. KD went to Brooklyn with Kyrie and James Harden. Everyone was foaming at the mouth to see those three play on the court at the same time. I know Colin was, but it didn't work out. It's better for basketball when you have all this talent on one team playing together because you're seeing the best possible basketball product out there. I don't want to watch Bradley Beal and the ABA Washington Wizards. Like, I'd rather watch like LeBron and Anthony Davis with the Lakers.
In today's standard,
to a degree.
the Chicago Bulls would be a super team, right? With Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan, and Scottie Pippen.
Absolutely.
Dennis Rodman is the greatest defensive player of all time, no? The greatest rebounder of all time, right?
Yeah, rebounding.
That motherfucker went to Vegas and they said, nah, we got to go to fucking get that motherfucker back here so we can win this championship. In today's terms, I feel like when you have three players on a team that are superstars, that are all-stars, that makes a super team automatically. Yeah. So I feel like if you look at with Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and fucking Dennis Rodman, that was the super team. Super teams has always been there. So don't get it twisted, bro. LeBron didn't start it. LeBron's the GOAT, the great guy. Draymond Green and Jordan Poole's pops are beefing, right? And obviously, Draymond Green said he just doesn't hit people for no reason.
I don't just hit people. Dialogue, of course, happens over time. And you usually ain't just triggered by something like that fast.
And I actually agree because when that whole situation happened, JJ Redick came out and said that he thinks that Jordan Poole is a clown because Jordan Poole, even if you look at the situation with Dame, when Jordan Poole was talking shit to Dame and Dame came out and was like, yo, I don't fuck with that guy, right? So even if you see in the footage, the problem wasn't Draymond punching him. The problem was that the footage actually got out, right? So after that certain point, you're trying to do fucking damage control, and I get it. So when you trying to say, oh, well, Draymond's ducking me, and he doesn't want to see me, what is he supposed to do to you, Pop? You want him to duff you too? Like, there's nothing you could do at that point. I feel like I get it. You guys got traded. You went to separate ways. But even if you look in that video, Jordan Poole's talking shit. And on top of that, Jordan Poole pushed Draymond, and I get it. Maybe a punch was a little too far, but sometimes when you run your mouth, you get punched. Listen, he's not Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr, right? We just didn't see the footage, and everything was good.
Yeah, and it helped out the relationship. It broke up the Warriors. Yeah. Like this whole punch in the face.
Like and when you're Jordan, like yes, Jordan Poole,
they're both in the wrong. I think this is so stupid. Like Jordan Poole's dad, like bro, you're inserting yourself into something that really doesn't concern you. Listen, Draymond, you never should have punched your team in the first place. Like
Jordan Poole and Draymond Green are both in the wrong in this situation. But if you're Draymond Green, you are the veteran, you are the older player, you've been with the Warriors longer, you've won these championships. Just take the fucking high road. Be the veteran player.
Draymond and
Talk
high
your
road,
shit.
that's not a thing.
I know.
Draymond stomping people in the
I
chest,
know.
that's not a thing.
Trust me.
I mean,
I
feel like personally, I feel like Draymond has handled it well. Even when Poole took that shot, he was like, I'm fine with Poole taking that shot. Because he knew what he did. He took accountability. He said, I was wrong. So at this certain point, like, what the fuck do you want him to do at this point?
It's just been dragged on for so long because it's this narrative of Draymond drove out KD, Draymond drove out Jordan Poole. When like
he did.
Did you see the video of KD and Jordan Poole putting up shots together?
Yeah, my enemy of my friend.
Yeah, but that's why it's been dragged out so long, is because of the narrative of he drove them both out. So his Draymond's this problem in the locker room, but he's really this big fucking problem. He would have been gone by now. Like, but he's not. He's not this massive problem that people are trying to make him out to be, because Steph probably wouldn't put up with this shit. Clay wouldn't put up with this shit. Steve Kerr wouldn't put up with it.
There's a difference there. I think Draymond would not cross the lines. He crossed with KD and Poole, with Steph, with Clay, with Kerr, because he knows how important they are, and they've been there.
KD's just as important.
KD wasn't one of the guys who came up there, though.
I think
he always saw KD as an outsider.
Yeah, he said,
I'm speculating, obviously, and Jordan Poole, he always saw him as like, oh, you're the young guy, you're the new guy. Steph, Clay, Kerr, they all came up with him. I think there's a respect thing, and he wouldn't go as far as he did.
And then they did it again. They won without him again. So, like, he didn't see him as a fucking asset. He was just like, you're a luxury, which is true. So, I don't like the whole thing about that. Draymond is valuable to that team. But I just think with the whole Draymond, Jordan Poole shit, and then Pops needs to shut the fuck up.
Jordan Poole's dad would get
snuffed. What you gonna do? You gonna get knocked out? Like, maybe that's a little too far. But
no, I mean, it's not. He would get knocked out. Today, we're doing a Battle of the Eras sponsored by New Era. We're going to go through two different years of all NBA teams. Okay. So first, let's do the most recent year, 2023 all NBA team. Guards, SGA and Luka Doncic. Forwards, Jason Tatum and Giannis. And then center, Joel Embiid. And we're going to put them up against the 2008 all NBA team, which comprises of the guards, Chris Paul and Kobe Bryant. Forwards, LeBron James and Kevin Garnett. And center, Dwight Howard.
2023 team's front court is way better in my opinion. Embiid and Antetokounmpo are better than KG and Dwight. CP3, Kobe, and Braun are going to wash SGA, Luka, and Tatum.
I'm going to take, honestly, I'll take 2008.
So I'm going to take 2023 if I just look at how these teams match up. Like, generally speaking, Giannis, Embiid, KG, Dwight Howard, no one is fucking scoring inside in this game, like, at all, in my opinion. And I just like the shooting of SGA, Luka, and Tatum over Chris Paul, Kobe, and LeBron. I don't think LeBron was that polished of a three-point shooter in 2008. Kobe can hit from anywhere. Chris Paul, good three-point shooter, not a great one. Tatum and Doncic, they're gonna pour it on.
First of all, point guard play, CP3 is cooking them up.
In 2008, right? Yes.
If you look at defense, Kobe, that is a
I don't know if CP3 is cooking up Shaq.
Yeah,
he is mind games.
It's a lot shorter.
If you look at defense, I'm going with Kobe Bryant, Braun, and Dwight Howard, and KG. If you look defensively, that's a way better fucking team.
It's just a whole lot of bully.
I'm taking them any day.
2008 is bully ball.
The CP3 Kobe Bryant thing, that's something that we always wanted and we didn't get because of David Stern, rest in peace. But that fucking minds, those fucking some of the greatest minds in basketball is better than lazy ass Luka Doncic that doesn't play no fucking defense. SGA is cool, but he's just scoring right now. Giannis can't shoot worth a motherfucker, so you already know what you can do with that boy. Tatum, that's probably the best player on that team besides Luka, but if you look at from a two-way standpoint, he might be the best. I get Joel Embiid does play defense, but Dwight Howard and KG, what they're going to do to them down low is going to get fucking disgusting. That's what I just think personally.
Yes, looking at the 2008 team, it's just putting them up against each other, they're a much better team. Like, I'm going to take LeBron over Jason Tatum. I'm going to take KG over Giannis because of just
nostalgia.
Recency bias.
Listen. Kobe Bryant, 5 rings. LeBron James, 4 rings. KD, 1 ring. Dwight, 1 ring.
Are we talking about rings now?
So rings are what matter in a 5v5 game. All right.
None of these players have won a championship and have a better resume, and I don't think that's nostalgia. I think
just doesn't matter for this.
Rings. I don't care about rings.
Rings matter in a 5v5
I'm just saying,
game.
You're saying nostalgia like this is like, oh.
I'm saying you look at a guy like Chris Paul. He's been great for years. you're just not going to put it's so easy to put in a guy like Shea who just had the best year of his career.
Okay, fine. But
it's
I'm
so
gonna
easy because you just look at the names and you just think like
I'm gonna take the two guys. I'm gonna take the team with two of the top 10 players of all time, which is LeBron James and Kobe Bryant. Dwight Howard in 2008 was the prime defender, one of the best defenders of all time.
Let's put it this way: who's the point guard? Luka, SGA.
SGA.
why does
I'm
it
asking
matter?
you this:
They're
who's the point guard?
I think I'd probably rather have the ball in Luka's hands, but I don't know.
Who's the point guard? It's your team. I'm letting you pick. Who's
It's
the
a
point
positionless basketball. I don't
Who's
have a
the
fucking
point
answer.
guard?
Luka.
All right, Luka. We're gonna go Luka over CP3, right?
Fine.
Yeah.
We're going SGA. We're going Kobe Bryant. No.
Kobe.
Yeah.
All right, Tatum. We're going Braun. No.
Yes.
All right, Giannis or KG. You're probably going Giannis, right?
Giannis.
Yeah, I'll take Giannis.
All right, Joel or Dwight?
I like shooting Joel.
Dwight.
Dwight?
Yeah.
All right, why?
2008, Dwight was a fucking defensive animal, and he would put men on posters, and we would destroy careers that way. Like, there's no getting through him in the paint, and offensively, he would bully guys down there. That's
cool.
Orlando Magic,
Bully
Dwight
ball,
Howard.
There's a reason bully ball is dead in the NBA. It's because spread the floor centers are better, they're more versatile, you score more often, and you can still play defense.
I'm still taking Dwight because, again, you
I'm
take.
still taking Dwight. All right.
I'm gonna take because okay. So Joel Embiid on Dwight Howard on defensively versus offensively. Dwight Howard's gonna bully the fuck out of Joel Embiid. Yes, you want the spread the floor stuff, but Joel Embiid is the one. Al Horford had him in hell. Joel Embiid is the one center in the NBA.
Dwight Howard's gonna come out to the perimeter and guard Joel Embiid. I doubt it.
He's long. He's
athletic enough.
He's athletic enough. He's athletic enough.
He's not athletic.
Dwight
athletic enough.
Joel Embiid is not.
Is he athletic enough?
I don't recall him ever playing outside the paint defense.
But is he athletic enough? That's not what I'm asking. Is he
He's a
athletic
drop
enough?
center, and guys play switch defense.
But is Joel?
So you think Dwight can't switch?
I don't fucking know. It wasn't around that. I'm saying right now, if he sees Joel Embiid switching and taking it out in the top of the key, he's gonna be like, "What the fuck? I've never seen this before."
He won a championship in the bubble, right? He was there for that.
Oh, come! We're talking about 2008.
What I'm saying is, you're saying like the motherfucking Asian, like he just stopped playing then. He was around for like prime what's going on today in this era, generation of basketball, and their size was giving people hell.
And his career,
he was around.
His career fell apart because of how the NBA changed.
I feel his career fell apart because of injuries.
I'm just saying, defensively, that year in the bubble, which is recent, he was able, and what he was doing off and giving AD
We're not
some
talking
help.
about the bubble. We're talking about.
I'm not talking. I'm just
That's
saying.
a better
You're
Dwight
saying
Howard.
that he can't play in today's NBA because he wouldn't be able to know what to do with a switch. And I'm telling you that he's seen those type of plays before because he was around it. It wasn't like he stopped playing then and just saw, oh
All
shit.
right, I'm
this
thinking
will
of
be-
this. I'm thinking of this in if you have in like a fantasy game, you have these 5 guys and these 5 guys in 2008 and in 2023. And in 2008, I think Dwight would be freaked out seeing the shit that Joel Embiid can do.
No, take away what JBobby's saying with the bubble stuff and whatnot. Joel Embiid is not. Yes, the switches might trip him up a little bit, but Joel Embiid's not crossing up Dwight Howard in a one-on-one offense versus defense. And also, when Dwight Howard's on offense, Joel Embiid is the one. I've been trying to say this. Joel Embiid is the one center in the NBA that struggles against bigger, more physical play.
I'll say this.
Dwight Howard will
Back
fuck
in
him
those
up in the
days,
paint.
They were playing defense. They're not playing defense
Okay,
now.
here
That
we
doesn't
go.
matter.
That's true.
Come on,
You
you're
just
a
said.
purist. You know that defense matters.
I do.
Exactly. So if they're playing
I
defense
just
now
think
when
the
they're
game
able to
has.
get these
It's
shots,
just so hard for me to like look at Joel Embiid, who's the modern center, and look at a guy like Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard bit the dust because the game changed and he couldn't keep up. Joel Embiid can do all the shit a modern day center could do. That's why I'm rocking with him in the center matchup.
that has been an episode of Harden and Paint. Make sure you like and subscribe for all your sports betting tips. Go to thegameday.com. I appreciate you, brother. I love to argue. It's been a different intensity, and that's how it's going to be going forward, Colin. I love Colin's intensity. I love when Colin mocks me. He called me stupid for not taking Ben Simmons stock, but
That's for the
it's
hook.
fucking Ben Simmons. Who gives a fuck? Make sure you like and subscribe. We out of here, gang, gang. Does JBobby make you angry? Well, that's good. Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe, baby.